Got a relatively busy chapel this morning. We're going to kick it off with a chapel talk from Jakob Bercher. Please welcome Jakob.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jakob Bercher, and I'm going to talk about prejudice. We're all prejudging at some points in our lives, and everybody has done it before, even though it's hard to accept that fact. So I'm going to tell a story which I experienced, in which prejudice plays a big role, and that shows that it is wrong to judge people by where they're from, how much money they have, and what they look like. In the summer of 2010, my family and I went to Greece, which was deep in its own financial crisis at that time. I'm from Germany, and as you might know, the German government wanted to help the people with money, but Germany demanded that the Greek people would work harder and spend less in return. All our friends in Germany said things like we shouldn't go because they were sure that Greeks would hate the Germans by that time. We were afraid of that too, but we were sure it wouldn't be that bad. We just agreed that we had to watch out for thieves, and that was our first prejudgment. We took the flight to Athens, and after that, we had to travel on by ferry to reach our destination. From the airport to the harbor, we had to take the bus. By the way, us, that was my mom, my dad, my little brother, and me. When we got on the bus, we realized how fly our bus driver looked. He wore a black leather jacket, even though it was about 95 degrees outside. He had really long brown hair, and he was talking to two cell phones at the same time. We weren't really afraid of that, because during the drive, he was only talking on one, so that was okay. When we arrived at the port after a 2 hours drive, we got off the bus in a hurry, with each of us grabbing 2 pieces of luggage. When we were standing on the sidewalk, my brother and I were fighting about which way our ferry would be, when my dad suddenly asked where his jacket was. Well, he left it on the bus that had already left. His jacket included his phone, his wallet with all his credit cards, all our cash, and his passport. There we were, stuck in a foreign country in a city with millions of people. It took my dad about a second to realize that. That is also the time it took him to run to the middle of the street and sprint after the bus. Down the main street of Athens. Picture a man in a dress shirt, khakis, and dress shoes with aviator sunglasses sprinting down the middle lane of a 3-lane street with a lot of traffic. It really could have been hilarious if we wouldn't have been really worried. While my mother, my brother, and I were standing there on the sidewalk with our luggage next to us pretty much blocking the whole way, we were sure he would never get that jacket back. If none of the passengers took it, the bus driver surely would have taken it. That's what we thought, and that's what was our second and third prejudgment. We judged all Greek people but by what we heard about their economy, and we judged the bus driver by the way he looked. 10 minutes later, my dad came back and said he caught up to a bus, but it was the wrong one. We stopped the next bus we saw and asked for a number to call in order to stop our bus. This bus driver called the main office so that they would call the bus to stop it. At the same time, an elderly man came out of the bar behind us and asked us in very good English what the problem was. That surprised us because another prejudgment popped up in our heads. We thought that only the higher class of Greeks is educated enough to speak English. Anyway, we told him what the problem was, and he offered us money for a taxi to the place the bus had been stopped. Of course, we said yes. We had no other choice because my dad's wallet was gone. We were really lucky. This very nice man knew exactly where the place was that the bus stopped at. When my dad got back, he had his jacket back, and every single thing was still in it. He offered the man money, but he refused. He only took the money for the taxi. My dad told us that when he got to the bus parking lot, the bus driver was, of course, sitting on his Harley. This one time, the prejudgment was right. When he saw my dad, he just pointed to a chair next to him where my dad's jacket was hanging on. As I said, everything was still in it. Not a single cent was missing. What we can all learn from is that even in situations when it seems to be impossible to stay unbiased, we always have to treat every person equally, and we have to assume that every person in the world can be a good person, no matter what he or she looks like or where he or she is from. Thank you.
Thank you, Jakob.